Michigan State to the Final Four. Ooh, that's got a nice ring to it. Rapheal Davis, he is here to join us to talk the roadmap to that glory. Let's go.
You are Locked On Spartans, your daily podcast on the Michigan State Spartans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Spartan friends, Spartan family, Locked On Spartans listeners, thank you so much for joining us for another March Madness show here on Locked On Spartans, your team in green and white 5 days a week. Yes, I'm your host, Matt Sheehan, but it's not just me. No, we got Rapheal Davis of the Big Ten Network. Yes, the guy that had Michigan State players in straitjackets during his Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year days at Purdue, but now he's about to douse us all with some green Kool-Aid. Rapheal, my man, how on earth are we doing so far today? Doing okay?
Oh, no, I'm doing well, man. I'm glad. Appreciate you having me on.
Thanks a lot for coming on because, you caught a lot of praise, really, from us Michigan State fans because earlier today, you started the day with having Michigan State in your Elite Eight, and by the time you hopped on the Big Ten Network, you upgraded them to the Final Four. I'm just going to let you take it away. Why or how do you see Tom Izzo reaching his 9th Final Four here at Michigan State?
No, I just like I said earlier, I like their draw. I like who they have ahead of them. I think the guard game that they have to play. I think they have to play the same game 3 different times. I think they have to play Mississippi State, a team that's led by a guard, and Josh Hubbard, a small guard that can make plays, that can get you 20. But again, he's only 38% from the field, and Michigan State's perimeter defense is still one of the best defenses he's seen. So I think they can take him out of the game. They can send 4 different guys at him, whether it's AJ Hoggard, Tyson Walker, Jaden Akins, or even Trey Holloman off the bench, who's been big time. Yeah. So I think that helps them in that game. Then you move forward, you move on to the next round, and I think they get a North Carolina team that, again, it's the same type of game. I know you have Baycott inside, but I think interior defense is one of Michigan State's strengths. Maybe their interior, they can't score the ball. They struggle to get buckets, but those dudes defend and they will rebound. And I think when you can hit Baycott you can hit him with Sissoko, you can hit him with Cooper, you can hit him with Kohler, even a little bit of Malik Hall or Xavier Booker, Colin Carr, give them different bodies. It helps them. And I think RJ Davis being the guy that makes the ship go for North Carolina, again, you look at that North Carolina State game, he didn't lose in the game, but him not being efficient from the field, 26 shots on 30 points, it's not good offense. And you can shoot your team out of the game that way. And I trust Tyson Walker in any of those guard games that they have. And even if you get to Arizona, I think Arizona gets to that Elite Eight. And same thing with Caleb Love. Caleb Love has had games where he's won them for Arizona. He's had games where he lost them for Arizona. So I think if this is a tournament where Tyson Walker, to me, is always going to show up. You don't ever have to question what you're going to get from a guy like Tyson Walker. I think if Malik Hall is productive offensively, which I think he can be against North Carolina's front line, if you get Jaden Akins can make some shots, which I can think he will, I don't think that Smith is kind of skipping my name. North Carolina's guard that's transferred from Notre Dame, but he can't
Cormac
guard.
Ryan. Yeah,
Cormac Ryan. He can't guard Jaden Akins. He can't keep Jaden Akins out of the lane. Jaden Akins can guard him, but he can't guard Jaden Akins. And I think this is a thing where if Michigan State's able to push the tempo and steal some points in transition, it'll help. And then AJ Hoggard. If you get a hooked up AJ Hoggard, I'll still believe in AJ Hoggard being one of the better guards. When he's at his best, one of the better guards in the Big Ten and in the country. So, like I said, if you could cut the head off the snake, normally the body will fall. And I think that's what you have to do when the teams they have to play. And I trust that. You look at that Baylor game, and that's what happened against Baylor. They had 3 good guards that could score the ball. It was guard dominant. You didn't really have to worry about the bigs inside. And that's what they have to worry about coming up. And I think that's the Tom Izzo's liking. I think that's to their guards' liking, and I think that it'll help everybody.
So it's safe to say that you think that Michigan State's best strength on either side of the floor, offense or defense, is that guard defense, or is there something else that you even put a notch above that in your opinion?
No, their strength is definitely their defense. They're number 8 most efficient defense in the country. And I think when you have 3 quick guards that could defend at a high level, it helps you. Like you think about that game against Purdue. They just took Purdue's guards out of the game, and then it just ended up being a foul fest. But if they could take guards out of the game, if it's something that Michigan State can do, They can take, especially when it comes to quick little guards. I mean, they may not have the size for Marcus Domask down low or Terrence Shannon in transition, but when it comes to guarding their yard against similar guards, I like Tyson Walker in any small guard matchup. I like him in any guard matchup under 6'3". I'm taking Tyson Walker no matter what. And then Jaden Akins, if he's hooked up and he's making shots and he's being the Jaden Akins that we all know he can be, I think Michigan State is poised to be that team that goes on that Cinderella run.
Sign me up for that right now. You're getting me fired up over here for this. I'm starting to see the vision right now, Rapheal. This is what I'm talking about, man. God, so glad we could have you on this show. As a former Defensive Player of the Year in the Big Ten, though, I have to ask you, on Michigan State right now, who do you think is the hardest player to defend going into this tournament?
It's Tyson Walker. I mean, He got over 2,000 points. He's probably one of the, I think his double-digit record was the longest for Michigan State. I mean, that's crazy. I think he's one of the better scorers to come through Michigan State, and that's saying a lot. I think he can score in a multitude of ways. He can knock down threes. He can shoot off the bounce. He can shoot coming off screens. He can shoot in transition. He can drive the ball. He's not scared to go get a shot blocked. A lot of little guards won't drive it. He'll go get his shot blocked, and he'll come right back at you the next time and get an and one. I really enjoy watching Tyson Walker play. I think Tyson Walker is that vintage, old school Michigan State guard that could have played in any era for Tom Izzo. I go to war with Tyson Walker. Then also, I think one of the X factors coming up for Michigan State will be Trey Holloman. I think Trey Holloman off the bench provides a spark. When he's making shots off the bench, it changes things. When they have bench production, scoring wise, it changes things. So I think in the guards game, it fits Trey Holloman. This is a game where you can see Michigan State playing some small ball, playing 4 guards, playing 3 guards, and Malik Hall calling card at the same time. And then you get in the tournament and you get against these North Carolinas and these type teams, the Arizonas of the world, the Alabamas of the world. You need athleticism, and that's where you get Cohen Carr and Xavier Booker to be at their best athletic wise. They've played a bunch of these dudes before, whether it's be the McDonald's All-American game or certain camps or whatnot. So I think this is turning out to be a real good shape for Michigan State.
And as a former player, too, I have to ask, like, what is it that makes NCAA tournament games so different for you guys? Like, is it just the festivities around it? Is it the way the actual games are played? Or what is the biggest difference between an NCAA tournament game and something you'd find in the regular season?
It's just everything around it. Because at the end of the day, it's just basketball, man. It's just a basketball on the court and it's crowd. But it's normally less fans. But I would say just the travel. You're traveling with your fans. You're traveling with the cheerleaders, with the band. I mean, everybody's excited at the hotel. It's a lot going on. I think stuff like that makes it more exciting. You get to the arena, you got gifts in the locker room, all that type of stuff. The media availability, coming in the locker room. I just think everything that surrounds March Madness is kind of what gets to people. But at the end of the day, you just got to go out there and hoop. And I think the teams that have hoopers and teams that have guys that can play for the next 10, 12, 15 years professionally, those are the teams that do well in March Madness. I always say pros win in March Madness, and not necessarily NBA guys, but if you got a team full of pros, high-level overseas guys, NBA guys, you show me a team that's won a national championship without 3 high-level pros, and I've yet to see it.
How long did it take for you to settle into an NCAA tournament game and realize that it is just ball? Was it just instant for you, right when the ball is tipped, or did it take a little bit to really get comfortable in a game that high pressure?
Well, for me, I lost both of my NCAA tournament games.
Sure.
Man, so I can't say
I wasn't going to mention it. I wasn't going to mention that, but yeah.
Well, no, I think when the ball goes up, you just hoop, and I just think I don't think players care as much as honestly. I just don't think players and coaches. I don't think they care as much as what fans and media and what we think they do. I think think that some of the times you just go out there, especially some players are just oblivious. Some players they don't know what's happening. They don't care what's happening. They just want to go play ball. And I think that's those are the teams that do the best in the tournament, you ask me. The teams that don't care about what's happening around them. They just care about hooping.
Be right back with our guy, Rapheal Davis. But first, let's get in on the action this March Madness with Bettor Together. Is your bracket already busted before games even begin? I certainly know that feeling over here. Tired of the same old daily fantasy grind where you make a roster, cross your fingers, and just hope for the best? Well, That's another feeling I totally understand. Or, hey, maybe even losing on the last leg of your pick'em entry. Well, introducing Bettor Together, the first cooperative daily fantasy platform where teamwork triumphs talent and you get to play with your friends, not against them. Pick more or less on real-time player stats, strategize with your partner to boost your odds and climb the leaderboard together. So grab a friend and join the leader in daily fantasy sports with Bettor Together. So it makes it even sweeter because when you download Bettor Together now for free in the App Store, sign up and use promo code Locked On. That's all one word, Locked On, for a chance to win your share of over $1,000 in cash prizes. Remember the code Locked On because winning alone is fun, but it's Bettor Together. Also need to talk your ears off about eBay Motors, folks. If you have any auto needs, you know where to go. It's eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and so much more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you always find exactly what you are looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your partner's guaranteed to fit your ride every single time, or it's your hard-earned money back. Because with eBay Motors, you are burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, better yet, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. So what are you waiting for out there? Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. And let's get back to chat with our guy, Rapheal Davis. Gotcha. Why do you think Tom Izzo has so much success in March? We ask, former Michigan State players that all the time, former team managers, but from the opposition, is there anything that you see Michigan State do from the outside looking in that you think is the straw that stirs the drink?
I mean, honestly, man, I think Michigan State just had pros. I mean, Tom Izzo's a great coach. I don't want to take nothing away from him, but he's an awesome coach. He does develop guys throughout the season, but you go to those Final Four teams, it's a lot of pros on those teams. You know what I mean? It's a lot of McDonald's All-Americans that's come through the program. I mean, you got guys like – I go back to my Final Four team, Michigan State. I mean, Denzel Valentine's a pro. Brandon Dawson's a pro. Yeah. I mean, Travis Trice is a pro. I mean, Brent Forbes is a pro. So, you know what I mean? When you got guys that can hoop at a high level, especially that can go hoop after college, I think it gives you a chance. And then Coach Izzo, he just will fight you. He'll fight you to the end. He's fight you tooth and nails. And then he'll get his guys to go and get his guys to understand what it means at this time of the year. Then they're freshmen. Normally you have freshmen, they tend to grow in shape by the end of the season. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of maybe what's happening with Xavier Booker right now. He's getting some tick. And then you think about guys like Colin Carr figuring it out right now as well.
So I got to know the other three teams in your Final Four here. I imagine that Michigan State is your longest shot, but who are the other three teams that are filling out your bracket if we could all just follow you so far?
Oh, yeah, I got Kentucky coming out of that Houston region. I have Purdue coming out, and then I have Illinois coming out.
Okay, I absolutely love that. I got to say, because a lot of times you'll be watching a show and it's, oh yeah, I got UConn, I got North Carolina, I got Houston. My wild card is, hey, this 2 seed down here. But I like that you're absolutely going for it, man. That's what I'm talking about. I do notice that you have Purdue here, and I got to bounce this off you. Someone the other day tweeted, this was after the Wisconsin game when they lost in the Big Ten tournament, relying on officiating to get you through a tourney game and coming up short. Oh yeah, Purdue is finally ready for March. Is that nonsense? Is there more that meets the eye than just relying on officiating for Purdue, or how do you?
I just think that's I think it's a lazy take. I think people just don't watch basketball. I mean, it's just simple. I just think that's just a simple way to go about it. Guys just don't watch, and then they just look at Zach and see he's getting fouled. I mean, you could say the same thing about Illinois. I mean, Terrence Shannon shot 20 free throws the other day. I mean,
that was a lot. Yeah.
You look at Terrence Shannon and Marcus Domask. They shot more free throws just together, those two guys, than Wisconsin did as a team. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, Zach gets fouled more times than not. I think people don't understand that Braden almost had a season-ending injury.
Right.
Emotionally, that was a lot for the guys to deal with. You see how it took the air out of the building. I mean, even Braden coming back to play on it, he wasn't the same player. So I think your second-best player is hurt, playing on one leg. It's going to affect everybody on the team. So and then Chucky Hepburn had his best game of the season. Max Klesman made some shots. AJ Stewart got going. Wisconsin playing the best ball right now. So I just think when you get into the tournament play, things happen, and I just think they with Braden Smith on one leg, they still got a number 5 seed in Wisconsin to overtime.
Right.
That was won by a possession. So I think they're in a pretty good spot.
There we go. That was my tweet, by the way. That was my lazy take, just being an absolute hater after the game. But I do come in peace, Rapheal. I am going to have Purdue
Oh,
in
no,
my
that's all
Final
good.
Four.
I think because you think about, I mean, people want to bring up Purdue or whatnot. They were just in Sweet 16 2 years ago. I know they lost the game, but that stuff, I mean, you win, you lose. You look at North Carolina, they didn't make the tournament last year.
I know. It's bananas.
It's like nobody's saying that North Carolina is going to lose in the first round because they didn't make the tournament last year. I'd rather lose in the first round than not make the tournament, if that makes sense.
That's 100,000% that makes sense. And I got to say, we are about like 14 minutes into this conversation, and you haven't brought up the time that despite being a defensive player of the year, that you dropped a career high 24 points against our Michigan State Spartans back in the day. What on earth happened that day? You were just absolutely out of your mind that day. So let's go ahead and shine that up for a little bit here.
I guess at that point in my career, I had never beat Michigan State. Going into my senior year, that was the last time we were going to play those guys. And just honestly, I can say it now, I've grown from it. I'm a mature person. But I just didn't like Michigan State at all. They always beat us. I hated the green. Coach Izzo was always yelling. The guys always act like they were tougher than what they really were outside of basketball. And I just had a real disdain. And they were kicking our butt like for 3 years straight. So when it came to rivalries in the Big Ten, they didn't have one with me because they won all the games. But I had like this inside rivalry with Michigan State. Above Indiana, above Illinois, it was Michigan State. That was it for me. But I think I just came out and the first one went in, the second one went in, and then coach started drawing up stuff, and it just ended up working out for me. But I did have a great first half. But I will say we were up by like 20 at halftime. I think we won in overtime or by a free throw or something, and almost shot us out of the game. So I think I have a 6 or 8 in the first half, and then for the game, I think I was 8 for 23. So that second half didn't work out for me.
It started making it rain. That's all that really matters. Who was the toughest player to defend for Michigan State, if you don't mind me asking here at the end of this little chat?
I know,
putting you on the hot seat.
Nah, none of those dudes was hard to guard, man. I think Gary Harris. Gary Harris is probably the best Michigan State guy I faced. I've known Gary. I've known G since 6th grade, and G was always. You just always knew the path G was on. G always worked harder than everybody else. He was always faster than everybody else. He was always more athletic. He always knew his role. He could always defend. But yeah, I think Gary. I think I put Gary in that mix. And then I put Matt Costello. I'll say Matt Costello. Shout out Matt Costello. He was he used to give AJ problems in the post. But as far as once I got good defensively, Gary was already gone, and then it became kind of easy peasy from there on.
There you go.
Who better? None of those dudes credit.
That's what I'm talking about. Who better to hear from than a former player, former defensive player, and, of course, Big Ten analyst over there, Rapheal Davis. Rapheal.
But no, I will say Brent Forbes and Denzel Valentine, man, they were really good. Like, Brent Forbes was a guy that can make shots all over the floor. He was fast. He ran that pull chain as best as anybody had for Michigan State. And then, obviously, Denzel Valentine. I mean, he get one of the best guards to come through Michigan State. I think those two guys, you add in Travis Trice with that mix, Brandon Dawson with that mix. I think that team is really similar to this Michigan State's team with their guard play being up and down all season long, with Brandon Dawson being up and down all season long compared to Malik Hall. I think it's a lot of similarities there.
Love that. Because I'm very nervous for this game right now on Thursday. Do you promise to win on Thursday? Because I just need to hear from someone that Michigan State's going to win in order to sleep tonight.
Oh, yeah, Michigan State will take care of business on Thursday.
Thanks. Wow. You have no idea how much that means to me, Rapheal. That's going to add hours of sleep onto my night. So really do appreciate not just that, but hey, just for spending some time tonight to talk MSU basketball and also a little bit of your playing days too. Really do appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you having me on. It was good to talk Michigan State. Go Spartans.
And there we go. And you know what? I'll even throw you a boiler up too, just because I have them in the Final Four. So I'm going to go against that mean tweet that I had last week and see if I can actually win.
Michigan State fans are tired of Zach Edey. It's been 2 straight seasons of just pure dominance. So I would be tired of the big fella too.
A relief washed over me after that game, thinking, you know what? That's the last time I ever have to see this guy go against my team, and that's kind of nice. That's
right. No, I feel that.
That's kind of comforting. So, but hey, folks, we will be back here in a hot second. We're going to talk a little bit of football. Just hang on. Still more to come, but first, this week's March Madness Bracket Highlight is brought to you by our friends at Nissan. Each week, we're picking one team that stands out, a team that's pushed it further than the rest, just like any of the all-new 2024 Nissan SUVs. These guys were able to take it to the next level. Like, for example, the Yukon Huskies. They can only be described as a Nissan Armada. This top-seeded team is as hardcore as it gets out there, so it's no wonder they've landed the top overall seed in the NCAA Tournament. They're one of the favorites to win it all, despite 4 of the 6 Power 6 conference champions standing in the way of the East region. Or, hey, really quick, another example, the Oregon Ducks are obviously this week's Nissan Rogue, the team that absolutely surprised all of us with a powerful performance in the final Pac-12 tournament, punching their ticket to the big dance. They say win life, go Rogue, and that's exactly what the Ducks have done here. So take the Nissan Rogue, Nissan Pathfinder, or Nissan Armada and go